And we had an opportunity to get some guys back healthy this past week during our open week. Go back and focus on fundamentals, focus on ourselves, focus on why we played as well as we played, and yet having to clean up some self-inflicted mistakes that are going to continue to push this program and push this team further this year in 2019. That was our big focus last week. We got guys back healthy. Should be at full capacity in our wide receiver room for the first time in quite some time, which is good to see. We had very few guys in yellow jerseys yesterday at practice. We had a few in green, but and they'll transition into a normal jersey this week at some point. So it was a very productive week. Anytime you can step back and kind of focus on yourself and the fundamentals that maybe during the course of a game week you don't have an opportunity to work as much on. But as I've said before, it's always how we play. It's not necessarily who we play, and focusing on and why as we work into to how we play and how we can continue to grow and get better and play better. We know that we've got a Kentucky team that they too were in a bye week, an open week, and they too had some guys that were banged up and had a chance to get some guys back healthy. They're better than what their record says. They've lost to Florida right there, really by one, but Florida scored right there at the end to make it an 8-point game. Played them all the way to the wire, and we know how talented they are and what they're doing this year. But we've got our work cut out for us. We've got to make sure that we're continuing to improve and play our best. We're playing an offense that they've had some injuries, and they got 3 returning starters coming into the year. We anticipate Lynn Bowden being all over the field, whether it be a quarterback, running back, wide receiver. I mean, he's electric. He's definitely a difference maker, and definitely one of the top players in this conference. A former high school quarterback. But I know that they've had some injuries at quarterback and looking to find the right chemistry there. So with an open week, I'm sure there's going to be some things that we haven't seen that we've got to be prepared for to make adjustments on. Defensively, they got 5 returning starters. Coach Stoops, this is his background. He's very involved, very well respected. I've known Coach Stoops for quite some time, played against him when he was at Florida State. He does a tremendous job defensively, and being able to make adjustments is what's the most impressive thing as you watch his defenses. I know Brad White is the defensive coordinator, but defensive front, all 3 guys return. They're big, they're strong up front, and they're all their interior guys. I mean, they'll muscle you back. I mean, they do a great job playing with their hands and using their size for their advantage. Cash Daniels, linebacker. This guy is watching him on film. He's fun to watch. This guy's all over the field. He loves to play the game. He's active. He's instinctive. He's always around the ball. And, you love the hustle and the effort. Jamar Watson, another outside backer that they have that's extremely active. So we know we got our work cut out for us. But again, it comes back to how we play, and that's what I'm more concerned with and focused on as we are with our staff and getting our staff to prepare our team and make sure that we play at a high level. So with that, I'll open up.
Coach, how much can Jordan Jones? I assume he's back able to play. How much can he help you, considering he's been out all season?
Well, we hope that he'll provide, an opportunity to stretch the field vertically for us, even more than what we've done. Obviously one of the fastest players on our team, and so to get him back full speed would be a huge addition for us. For the depth in that wide receiver room that we've been injured at most of the year since fall camp.
Coach, you talked about getting a lot of the wide receivers back. I assume you also mean Trey Knox. Could you just kind of go into where his health status is, and also with Starkel and his contusion?
Yeah, Nick worked out last week, so he's ready to go. He's full speed as well. Trey Knox, Trey was out. He was in a normal jersey last night at practice, running around, looked good. So we anticipate him being back and being out there, and so it was good to see him back. I know he spent some time after practice. He and Nick working on a few things, and so that's what you hope to have.
Coach, how much film from high school do you watch of Bowden playing quarterback, and then what did you see from that if you did watch it?
Well, I mean, you'll watch, through the recruiting process, you'll see him, but the thing that sticks out more than anything is how dynamic he is with the ball in his hands. I mean, he's electric, whether he's returning kicks at wide receiver. I mean, they do a great job of trying to get the ball to him. And now, I'm sure he'll line up some at quarterback. He'll line up at running back. He'll line up back at wide receiver. He'll be all over the field, and we're prepared for that. But the guy is definitely a difference maker. Very impressive to watch.
Yeah, go ahead.
What did you see from your team during the open date in terms of being on point and being clean and executing that can help you moving forward?
Well, I thought that we used last week, again, to get some guys back healthy. It took some of our high mileage guys that have gotten a lot of reps over the first 5 weeks and gave them opportunity to obviously get their fundamental work in and some individual work, some team settings, but really kind of try to grow some of the younger guys into some more productive roles for us. I thought our attitude was great, and I thought that the guys responded. I think they saw that, as I shared with them, that we got to put performances like that together each week. That's now the standard, and we've got to, not only that, we've got to clean up the mistakes that kept us from winning a game. And that's we got to win a game like that. And so I think they saw that that yes, we could have played better, but we if we can continue to improve, that's the main message here with that. But the attitude was great. The guys were in, and we had 3 really good days of practice and game prep and focusing on ourselves.
Yeah, Chad, I guess Tyson Marsh is the guy that's taking advantage of some extra reps with those injuries. Now that you're getting healthier, does he still? Well, what role do you anticipate him playing? What have you thought of his season and your decision to put him on scholarship? What led to that?
Well, I think number one, Tyson has, he's a tremendous worker. He's a great leader. But more importantly, as you look at how he has helped this football team with us losing Dion in fall camp, someone had to step into that role, and then Jordan went down, and so Tyson's role just kept elevating. I think that he's obviously made some plays. He played 50-something snaps the last game as a walk-on wide receiver, and he's making catches. He scored some touchdowns this year. He's made some key catches for us, and a young man that's providing great value, and he's maximizing his opportunities when he gets them. And I anticipate him continuing to play for us.
What's the balance for you in terms of in a bye week preparing for Kentucky? I guess so maybe you don't oversaturate it with the players, and then, or if you can, going back to fundamentals and also trying to work with the younger players and getting them more involved.
Well, there's a fine balance there. Obviously, our biggest focus is on our football team and how we can improve our team, and you improve our team by making sure each position gets a little bit better, and so you spend the time and the periods necessary to focus on those fundamentals. There was a lot of game prep going on last week, especially with Kentucky having an open week and a bye week. There was no more film we were going to get this week that were going to help us out. So as a coaching staff, we put the plan in. We'll continue to refine it a little bit along the way of what we feel like we can execute at a high level doing. And so we've definitely introduced Kentucky a lot last week. And then the young guys, we spent time at the end of practice, as we do usually toward the middle to the latter part of the year with some of our younger guys. We'll spend some time at the last 10, 15, 20 minutes of practice to where it's strictly focused on the young guys and their development, whether that's a scrimmage setting, a scale setting, or whatever it may be, maybe some individual work that we just focus on those guys. And when we do that, we'll pull the older guys back off the field, and they'll actually get a chance to help coach. So yeah, there's a great balance there. When time you have 3 days of practice in, you want to make sure that you try to get your guys back as fresh and as healthy as you possibly can, and yet still get the work in.
What's Ty Clary's status, and also just how the off week do as far as getting some depth in your offensive line?
Well, we anticipate Ty being back tomorrow at practice. We'll see. And same way with Colton Jackson. We'll see both of those guys. But, you know, overall from there, I mean, that's really the only two that we have that would be out right now. But we anticipate those guys being back.
Syndrome for both of them?
I had a question about Rakeem Boyd. When Jeff Traylor was in here the other day, he talked about how emotional he is after games. And I was wondering if you could summarize what his season's been like and what you see of him from a personal standpoint, you know, being an emotional guy and what it means to him.
Well, I think Rakeem is first of all, as not just Rakeem, but all our players, really the older guys that have been here the longest. I mean, it's you know, they know that their opportunities are narrowing down, and so just like with Rakeem, I mean, I know he's got another year, but you know, he is you know, you want a team full of competitors, and that's what you have. And yeah, guys hurt, they get emotional after games, win or lose, and just you know, and you love that about them. That's the competitive juices that come out of these guys, and you know, you can't fault someone for being emotional. I mean, you know, as you prepare and you put a plan together, and the time that these guys spend up here. So yeah, I mean, he's an emotional guy, but you know, he's passionate, and he's not the only one that's that way too. We got a whole bunch of them in there that are that way.
And how he's performed, like, is he?
Yeah, I think Rakeem's had I think he's had a very productive year to this point, and I think that he's running the ball well. He's catching the ball well. He's doing a lot of really good things, and I know he's got to continue to refine his game and stay healthy, and you know, make the plays when he's called on.
I got two more things here. Sosa, how's he doing? And then also, when you play Auburn next week, it'll be the third opponent in 4 weeks that is coming off an open date. What's it generally like facing a team? Like, do they usually have a little bit more trickeration going on in their game plans, stuff like that?
With Sosa, first of all, with you know, he was opportunity to get him back. He was one of the guys to get back healthy last week. He was out there yesterday. He was in a normal jersey. I anticipate him being full go. I think for where he is and how well he's playing right now, it would take something really substantial to keep him out of a game. So I'm excited about him and watching him grow and continue to improve. I think he's having a really good year, and I think that with an opportunity to have a great year. And so, you know, as far as I hadn't looked at the schedule that far in advance and see who has open weeks and who doesn't, but, you know, I know that, you know, when you got a chance to step back and get a whole new change of perspective, focus on yourself, get guys back healthy, work on some things that maybe you hadn't shown, you know, I think you always anticipate getting something that you haven't seen. And I guess that'll continue for a few more weeks.
Coach, kind of continue something last week, ask about all the young guys, but how's KJ at quarterback and Zach doing in practice? Zach
Williams? Oh, Zimos. Zimos. Zach is doing a great job, doing a really good job. You know, he's traveled with us. Really, you know, hope that we can redshirt him. You know, he's still getting a lot of reps. Last week was really good for him, as well with KJ. KJ's doing a lot of scout team work. He's traveling with us from the majority of the time, sitting in our quarterback meetings, and he's able to get some valuable scout team reps, which is good for him, and he's taken on that role. And so not just those two guys, but all those freshmen that we're anticipating redshirt and are having an opportunity to get over there and make an impact on scout team.
Coach, when you're not
Sure which quarterback is going to play for another team. Do you prepare for 2 or 3 guys? And do you spend time on each of them?
Well, I think you have to. You have to look at what are the possibilities. When you get Lynn in there, you know that, I mean, you can't go to sleep. He can throw the football. He's a high school quarterback. Watched him throw the football, and so you can't just say it's automatically running the ball. I mean, you got to be aware of his talent and his skill set, and the rush lanes and keeping him contained. And then, you got the others that come in, whether it's Walker or Sawyer. I mean, both of these guys can throw the football and move around. But so yeah, you have to prepare for what each one does and each one's strengths and weaknesses. So yeah.
Chad, a couple, you mentioned Zach Williams. I think he was in a green jersey last week when we saw him. Is he back for this week?
Yeah,
And
Zach is one of those guys that's back healthy.
I know Eric Gregory hadn't gone yet. Is that more because he's still kind of getting the ankle right, or is that more just because he missed so much practice, he just needs more prep time? Or?
Yeah, no, I think his ankle's back fully healthy. I think just to continue to bring him along, while he may not be ready right now, doesn't mean he won't be ready in the next several weeks. He's a guy he's still getting a lot of reps. Last week was really good for him too. And so, he's going to be a tremendous player for us. It's just, with the depth and where we're at in some of those areas, we're trying to bring him along as quick as we can.
I should have looked up these scores, but I guess if I got it right, you went against Mark Stoops at FSU 3 times. How'd those games go? Kind of what do you remember about those, and what was it like going against him?
Well, they were both battles all the way to the end. I mean, two really good football teams going at each other. We played them one time in Death Valley and the other time at their place, and so it was definitely some battles. So he's a great ball coach. I know that. I've had great respect for him, and obviously where he's been, and even when he's a defensive coordinator out in Arizona and helped build that program, he's done some great things.
Hey, Chad, to piggyback on what he was asking earlier about the red shirts, are there freshmen who haven't played yet who you've seen something from in scout teamwork that you anticipate might get into the games? And then with the 4-game red shirt rule, how difficult is it when most of the games you have left are SEC games?
From as far as what the schedule looks like on whether or not these guys are going to play or not it's not really relevant. It's more of how our football team's doing. It's whether we got the injuries or that allow the depth that we need guys on the field. So I think that I think you're going to see you very well could see a few more younger guys being able to get in. I know that they've been getting a lot of reps at practice. So, just kind of the game dictates that, and the depth and how the guys in front of them are playing. But, I anticipate some guys being able to continue to come on.
Coach Caldwell mentioned that Matayo might get the cast off. Did that happen? Is he ready?
As of last night, it has not happened yet. We think it could happen this week, and I know he's ready to get it off, and so.
You had a change of both Chavis and Barry came down to the field. What did you like of the new mix between the press box and the field guys?
Well, I thought that we needed something a little bit different. We needed to change up a few things, and I thought that Coach has called both on the field and in the box, and I think for where we are and his ability to see the game and make the adjustments, I just felt more comfortable that for him to be in the box. And with Steve coming down, I think, again, it allowed him, with as many young guys as he's playing, allowed him to have an interaction with those guys on a series-to-series basis.
You said you think that there's going to be some younger guys get in. Who are some of the ones that are set up?
Malik Chavis may be a guy. I mean, we continue to bring these guys along. Again, it's really hard to say all of them. I mean, we anticipate, Jalen Catalon, I know he's played in a game or two. I mean, he's continuing to improve and impress us, providing depth. Again, it's all, there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to that.